And could the Flashes head into the Glass Bowl and get the job done versus the Toledo Rockets?
The Guardians and the Yankees are in the midst of a grudge match. We'll have all the highlights later on.
And could the Stowe Bulldogs rumble into Twinsburg and pick up the win? We'll have that and much more on Sports Corner, which starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner. I'm Matt Mergen.
And I'm Liv Sharp. The Kent State football team traveled to the Glass Bowl in Toledo to take on the Rockets.
The Flashes got off to a fast start, but could they hang on? Let's go to the highlights. We got the Flashes on the road, taking on the Rockets. Colin Schlee, he's going to hand it off to Marquez Cooper to get things started. Kent takes a 7-0 lead, and then Schlee again. It's going to be a fake handoff, and Colin Schlee, the quarterback keeper, he will score. Flashes, they're out to an early lead, 14-0, and then Marquez Cooper, he will score yet another touchdown. Kent State, flash fast start, 21-0. But the Rockets would start to take off midway through the first. Daquan Finn will take off here on a quarterback keeper, and he gets by the Kent State defense. He had 87 rushing yards on the game, plus that rushing touchdown, and it was Finn's game. He was throwing dimes left and right as he throws this one to the end zone to find Devin Maddox. Coverage was there, but spectacular catch by Maddox, cuts the deficit, and then Finn again. All the time in the world because of his O-line. He's going to wind this one up to find Mikel Barkley. Kent State secondary struggling in this one, and Toledo has climbed back in this game. And then Finn, once again, he only threw 22 passes in the game, but 6 were for touchdowns as he led this Rockets team, finding Newton on this play. And the Rockets, they're going to soar past the Flashes, and Finn puts the cherry on top with one more touchdown pass, scrambling out of the pocket, and he found Mikel Barkley once again. Toledo would go on to win with a final score of 52-31 over the Flashes, shutting them out in the second half.
Again, not the results, again, that we were looking for, right? Started really proud of the way that we started. Obviously, need to finish a heck of a lot better. Toledo made more plays than we did. Their staff did a great job putting their kids in position to be successful, and we got to do a better job, starting with myself and the rest of the staff, being better through the week of preparation and putting our kids in the best position to be successful so we can win these games. Obviously, each and every single week, things are very challenging in this league and doesn't get any easier. Next week, big rivalry game. We got to defend our home turf and everything that goes into that. So we got to handle the preparation the right way and go about our business the right way so we can continue to improve and compete at a really high level next week.
Like we said, Toledo beating Kent State 52-31. Schlee had a relatively good game, 162 yards, 1 interception. Cooper, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Cephas, 68 yards for him. But Daquan Finn, he was just too good, 263 yards and 6 touchdowns. Boone, 84 yards. Newton, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Other scores from around the MAC. Central Michigan 28, they knock off Akron, they only score 21. Miami 13 to Bowling Green, 17, low scoring game there. Buffalo, they went 34 over UMass 7, and then UConn 21, Ball State 25. Northern Illinois 39 over Eastern Michigan 10, and then Ohio 33, Western Michigan with 14.
Now we take a look at the MAC East standings. As of today, Buffalo is 3-0, perfect in conference play in first place. We've got a tie for second place with Ohio and Bowling Green. 2 wins, 1 loss apiece. Ohio's 1 loss coming at the hands of the Golden Flashes. Miami is in 4th with 1-2, tied with Kent State, also 1-2. Akron is in 6th, 0-3. They are completely defeated in conference play.
And Liv, those Flashes, they fell short to Toledo with a final of 52-31 to fall to 2-5. Like you said, they're tied for 4th. Are you concerned with this team?
I mean, it's really hard not to be discouraged when the Flashes got out to such a spectacular start. They looked like a complete team. The defense was elite. The offense was trucking along. It was amazing to see, but I can only describe the second half as a total and complete collapse of literally every player. I mean, I can't be too mad because the Flashes were up against what I consider to be the best quarterback in the MAC in Daquan Finn, who has a crazy good arm and just carved up the Kent State secondary in every sense of the word. The offense just entirely shut down for reasons I can't explain, and it does really make me nervous going forward because this was an absolute winnable game. And if you would have just watched the first quarter, you would have agreed. Unfortunately, the Flashes were a train wreck for the other 45 minutes.
Liv, like you said, the Flashes, they did get off to a hot start, completely flipped the script from last week. And during our episode, I talked about how the Flashes' slow start against the Redhawks was my concern going into the next week. And then they battled back, but it was too late. This week, the complete opposite. They got off to a great start. They just took the pedal off the gas. Marquez Cooper, he deserves a lot of credit for the Flash's hot start in the game. 31 carries, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 21-7 lead in the first, but they get shut out in the second half. It's not a good look. And the Flash's wide receivers, they did not have as explosive a game as we are used to either. Walker and Cephas, they couldn't find the end zone. Shley, he wasn't able to get 1 touchdown pass in a very frustrating game. Hopefully this offense can figure things out against Akron. And Coach Sean Lewis, he spoke about their upcoming matchup against Akron.
We need to sell out for the wheel. You know, we need to get all Northeast Ohio here, and we need to create an unbelievable home environment the way that we have in the past, so that everyone knows that this is a spot to be in Northeast Ohio. You know, we back in 2019, there was only one person in our organization that ever touched the wheel. And now, you know, we made point and made note to make sure that no one takes this thing for granted, that the wheel just hangs in our locker room. At noon, that thing's going to get put down. It's going to get put down in neutral territory. And until that final whistle blows and there's all zeros on the clock, right, that thing's up for grabs. And with everything that we do through this week in preparation, we have to have a sense of urgency, and we have to have an understanding of what the stakes of winning is, especially in this game. And we can't take anything for granted with that. We can't cheat that day-to-day process in any sort of sense. And we got to know and appreciate the history that is this game, the legacy that's been created, and the number of days that that wheel has hung in the proper colors in our locker room. None of that can be taken for granted, and everyone's got to fight and claw and do a little bit extra this week to make sure that that thing comes back into our locker room when all's said and done.
In Kent State, Akron, Wagon Wheel matchup. It's a historic rivalry, and fun fact, the very first Wagon Wheel matchup between the two, Akron shut out Kent, and in the most recent matchup, Kent shut out Akron, and Kent's won it 3 years in a row now. Liv, do you think the Flashes make it to 4?
I'm hoping so. I know a lot of people are super optimistic going forward in this Wagon Wheel matchup, but this game is unlike any other because of the rivalry. All other games kind of go out the window. This game will always mean more than any other game, and I don't think Kent really has what it takes to win. I might be wrong, though. I may be wrong. If we look at records, Kent beat Ohio University and Akron lost to OU, so logically, we should beat the Zips. But unless Coach Lewis manages to turn around this whole team, I think it's going to be a nail-biter to the bitter end.
Liv, I think it's going to be a scary game for the Flash, but I do think they get it done. Although they have struggled at times this year, they have had a hold over this rivalry for a few years now, and I think it continues. This is a matchup between two struggling teams, but the Zips will struggle more, and I believe Cephas and Walker, they have bounced back games. Cephas should torch the secondary, and with that, let's get into our predictions.
All right, like I said, I think that Kent State might have a bit of a rocky game, but I gotta go with our Golden Flashes. I think they're gonna get the W against Akron, 35-21, but I expect that this game is gonna be close for a majority. I think the fourth, Kent State's gonna have a breakout quarter and run away with it.
And then I got Kent winning 42-41. Like I said, both these teams, they are struggling, but I think Kent State, they're gonna come out and they're gonna be hungry for a win. They've lost the past two. I think they get the job done, win 42-14 over a very struggling Akron Zips team. And the Kent State women's volleyball team traded sweeps with Akron in the MAC last weekend, and the Flashes beat Akron 3-0 on Friday, before the Zips answered back with a sweep of their own on the following day. Kent State now sits at third in the MAC East Division with a 3-5 record in conference play and a 12-7 overall record. The Flashes look to bounce back tomorrow at home against the Ohio Bobcats before traveling to Buffalo for Thursday and Friday games.
Last weekend, the Kent State women's soccer team tied Northern Illinois in a 1-1 draw. Coming off a win against Bowling Green, the Flashes came out to a 1-goal lead in the first period of play before the Huskies evened the game in the second period to close out scoring in the match. The tie gives Kent State a 4-1-3 record in conference play. A notable performance came from freshman Taylor English, who recorded 1 goal. The Flashes prepare to take on Ball State this Thursday at home before traveling to Central Michigan on Sunday.
And over the weekend, the Kent State field hockey team fell to Penn State 3-0. Following a loss to the Miami Redhawks in Oxford, the Flashes were set to take on the number 4 ranked Nittany Lions at Dick Stadium. Penn State took a 1-0 lead 2 minutes into the match and would put up 2 more unanswered goals in the remaining 3 quarters to shut out the Flashes. Kent State is set to travel to Farmville, Virginia on Friday to take on Longwood University.
The Flashes hockey team swept Toledo in their home series this weekend. Kent State defeated Toledo 5-3 in the first game of the weekend in Kent. Jonathan Gabriel scored 2 goals in his season debut, and Hunter Hilbrecht added 2 of his own. Tommy Kilway added a 5th. The Flashes took the game in Toledo by a score of 3-1 with goals from Jack Kinsman, Hunter Hilbrecht, and Jake Herberg. The Flashes are in action next Sunday, October 23rd at Duquesne for a crucial conference matchup.
And could the Twinsburg Tigers make it 2 straight wins in a row? We have the highlights and more from around the area when we return.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. Matt and I, our alma maters, faced off this week, so let's go to Twinsburg Tiger Stadium and see how the Stowe Bulldogs did. Picking things up in the first, Twinsburg QB Joey Pollock takes a snap, drops back, he fires a laser to Cameron Wright, and he takes that to the house. 37-yard TD pass, and Twinsburg is up 6-0 after a failed point-after attempt. Twinsburg back on offense. Pollock showing off his arm again and finds Steve Kamek, who mosses a defender to bring this one in for the Tigers. What a catch. Kamek had a crazy night. This TD was just the beginning. Scores now 12-0. And remember how I said Kamek had a crazy night? Yeah. Check out this play. Stowe is in the red zone. Jacob Harrington looking for Nate Boozer, but it's Kamek who comes down with it. That is a crazy pick. The score remains 12-0 going into the half. Let's head to the third. The Bulldogs back in the red zone. Harrington's in the pocket. He looks around and connects with Jack Smith, who breaks a couple Tiger tackles and falls into the end zone to get Stowe on the board. Score is now 6-12. The Tigers, they're not going to go down easy, though. Pollock going to use his spectacular arm and launches the ball 30 yards to who else but Steve Kamek. Kamek shakes off James Lewis Jordan and runs into the end zone. The Tigers take an 18-6 lead, but it's this play that'll end it. Harrington trying to find an open man, but it's picked. That is a pick six for Quincy Newsome. Look at him go. Twinsburg will end up taking this one 32-14 and pick up another Suburban League win.
And we have the Aurora Greenmen taking on the Highland Hornets in this matchup. Both teams having solid seasons so far. Lucas Stills would get things going as the Hornets, they jump out to an early 7-0 lead. They were far from done. Highland Hornet Noah Robinson, he would take this handoff all the way, and the Hornets, they come out stinging to a 14-0 lead, and Aurora, they were in trouble in this one. And quarterback Ben Rogue trying to make something happen. He would roll out to his right, and he lobs one up, and it's intercepted by the Hornets defense. Aurora would find a way to put 3 up on the board before the half, and they would trail 3-17 going into the break, and it was more of the same story in the second half. Stills would score his second touchdown of the game to extend the Highland lead, and it was the Stills game. He was the workhorse back for this team, and he punched in a third touchdown. Stills and crew get it done as the Hornets sting the Green Men and win with a final score of 30-3.
I tried as hard as I could, gave it my all, and that's all anybody could ask for. But, I mean, it was awesome. I love being in the game. When you're at quarterback, everybody looks up to you. You carry everybody. So when your morale is up and you're working hard, the team's gonna work hard. You gotta hype everybody up. So number one, our backup quarterback's already out. He's hurt. First quarterback went out early. The guy who went in, Sam Retton, he's a starting wide receiver outside linebacker for us. He hasn't played quarterback much since his sophomore year, but he practiced it a little bit limited this week in practice as an emergency. And that emergency happened in the first quarter. And I couldn't be more proud of the effort he made. And all our seniors. This is our last game in our home field, senior night. And they really played hard against a very, very good football team.
And then we'll get some high school football scores. Norton 38 over Field. They only scored 7. Olmsted Falls 56, Avon Lake 31, and Talmadge 63 points against Copley. They put up 20. And Archbishop Hoban 48 to Benedictine 0, and then Medina 55 to Lorraine's 13.
Regular high school football season, Archbishop Hoban is going to be at St. Edward's. Wadsworth is going to be at Twinsburg. Stowe going to be at Hudson. Rutztown is going to be at Mogador, and Solon will be at Medina.
And then Alabama and Tennessee squared off in Knoxville for an SEC showdown. We will have that and more college football when we come back.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Welcome back. And could the Crimson Tide march into new Neyland Stadium and defeat the Volunteers of Tennessee? To Knoxville, Tennessee we go. And then we had arguably the best college game of the week. Alabama on the road taking on Tennessee. We go to the third in a tie game as Hendon Hooker throws the ball at Jalen Hyatt for a touchdown to give the Volunteers the lead in this shootout game. Hyatt with an amazing game, 5 touchdowns on 6 catches for 207 yards. That's remarkable. And Bryce Young and the Crimson Tide, they would reach the red zone, and Jahmyr Gibbs would take this one in for the Tide. Gibbs with 3 rushing touchdowns and 100-plus yards on the game. And then early in the fourth, Alabama with a 1-point lead, and guess who it is? Jalen Hyatt. They could not keep track of this man as he hit the tie with big play after big play, and this is a big touchdown. The crowd was going insane with a chance to knock off Saban. And midway through the fourth quarter, the Volunteers, they would fumble the ball on this handoff, and they volunteered to hold the door open for Alabama in this game by just giving away a touchdown. Bad break for Tennessee, but late in the fourth, the Volunteers stayed poised and stuck to what they know. Throw the ball to Jalen Hyatt in the end zone, and it's working. Volunteers right back in it, and they would march down the field late for a potential game-winning field goal. Will Reichard is the hero as they knock off the Crimson Tide and defend home field. 52-49 is your final. Tennessee picks up their biggest win of the year.
Let's go to Utah, where the Utes are facing USC wearing helmets to commemorate 2 of their teammates. First and goal for USC, Caleb Williams takes the snap and completes a quick pass to Jordan Addison, who goes wide and runs in for the touchdown. Trojans are up 14-0, 36 ticks left. USC up by 2 scores. Cameron rising in the pocket. He drops back and hits Devon Vele. Vele breaks a tackle and launches his way into the end zone. Utah first and goal on the 1-yard line. Utah's going to pull the QB sneak. They're pushing, they're shoving, and just manhandle Cameron rising in for the touchdown. And we are all tied up 35. USC is looking to break away here. Williams feels the pressure, tosses the ball off to Michael Jackson. No, not that one. And he rushes 20 yards for another USC touchdown. Utah, they're not going down though. Rising is going to take the snap again, and he is going to muscle his way into the end zone. It all comes down to this 2-point attempt. Rising drops back, tries to find an open man, but like he's been doing it all night, he takes it in himself. The Utes have a 1-point lead. With 8 ticks to go, USC is trying to make something happen. Williams, he's going to attempt a Hail Mary, but as you see here, it is no good. USC you later. The Utah Utes win this one 43-42.
And then we got the Michigan Wolverines taking on Penn State. Both teams off to a slow start, but that changes off a Blake Corum touchdown. Michigan, they would take a 13-0 lead early in the second, but Penn State, they came to play against number 5 Michigan as quarterback Sean Clifford fakes out the cameraman and that entire Wolverine defense with a fake handoff, and he will take it inside the Michigan 5. And then on 4th and goal, Katron Allen, he will finish off the drive for Penn State as he punches in for 6. Penn kept it close. But later in the first half, quarterback J.J. McCarthy looking for a check down, and the pass is tipped, and it's intercepted. Self-inflicted wounds by the Wolverines were allowing Penn State to hang within the first half. But in the second half, it was all the Wolverines. Donovan Edwards took over the game as he breaks away on this run to give Michigan the lead back, and they took off with it. 173 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns for Edwards in this game, and Wolverines up 34-17 late. Donovan Edwards put the stamp on this one for another rushing touchdown. Wolverines win with a final score of 41-17 and move to 7-0 on the season.
Now we've got TCU taking on OK State. Only one undefeated team will leave. It's time to see who it's going to be. Oklahoma State starting this one off. QB Spencer Sanders, he's looking for an open man. He pumps a couple times, but he sees the pressure coming, so he tucks this one under his arm and starts barreling past the Horned Frog defense. Skates to the outside, brings it to the house. Cowboys are on the board. OK State is back in the red zone. Sanders looks around for an open man and finds John Paul Richardson, who somehow manages to bring the ball down while TCU is in heavy coverage. The Cowboys extend their lead. It's not looking great for the Horned Frogs. 2nd and goal, Max Dugan's going to hand this one off to Kendra Miller, and he's just going to get shoved into the end zone. Horned Frogs bring this to a 1-score game in the 4th. 2nd and 8 for the Horned Frogs. They're going to play a little razzle-dazzle trick play. Dugan manages to get this over to Jared Wiley, who just launches himself over a Cowboy in here into the end zone. TCU knocks this one up with 30. and there's 2 minutes to go in the fourth. But we're going to head to overtime, tied at 30. Dugan, he's going to fake the handoff, winds up, launches this ball to Quentin Johnson, who just falls into the end zone, and TCU takes the lead for the first time this game. Oklahoma still in this, though. Sanders hands this one off to Dominic Richardson, who leaps into the end zone, and we are tied. Once again, back and forth we go. Double overtime. Horned Frogs will win in 43-40. Double overtime with this handoff to Keandre Miller. What a game this was. The Horned Frogs continue their undefeated campaign.
And we got the Clemson Tigers taking on Florida State. Tigers have the claws out as DJ throws his touchdown to Jake Briningstool. Clemson ties the game, and they are just toying with Florida State here. A little trickery. And Uwe Ongle doing all for his team. Fake handoff, and he will scramble to his right for the touchdown. DJ with 3 passing touchdowns. And now, Clemson, they're just toying with Florida State. A little trickery here, and the ball is going to be launched and land in the hands of Davis Allen, the tight end. Allen, he gets to the end zone. But Clemson, they shouldn't have taken their foot off the gas. Jordan Travis was making plays as he rolls to his right and finds a wide open receiver. And Travis, he's going to take over this game. He's going to drop back and rifle one to Kentron Portier for the touchdown. Florida State giving undefeated Clemson a run for their money in this game. But at the end of the day, it was Clemson's Will Shipley. He would right the ship, and he's going to seal this one for the Tigers by picking up this first down. 34-28 is your final, and Clemson, they remain undefeated this season. And Liv, for the first time in 3 years, Alabama is ranked outside the top 5 at some point in the season. Tennessee got a hard-fought win, and how do you feel about the new top 5?
I mean, it's not surprising. Look at the game against Tennessee. It's understandable that Alabama would drop. I mean, any loss should drop you out of the top 5, but let alone to an underdog, that earns you a solid 7 to 8 place. So being ranked 6th, not bad. They were down as many as 18 in the game, but managed to come back within a field goal and, then missed it. But I digress. They earned that number 6 spot, and Tennessee absolutely earned their number 3 spot. In other news, Georgia held on to number 1 after shutting out Vanderbilt 55-0. Ohio stayed at 2 because they had a bye week, but mark my words, they will be number 1 after beating the Nittany Lions this week. Moving on to the Wolverines, they're number 4 after running over the aforementioned Penn State. It's hard to say if they should really be jumped up 5 spots. I think they'd be better around 6 to 7. Clemson is at 5. They beat Florida State, but they still fell 4 spots. That's maybe an over-exaggeration, but I think they'd be fine at 3 to 4. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you think, Matt?
I personally like the new top 5. Tennessee, they earned the right to be 3rd, picking up that win over Alabama. And as for the Crimson Tide, it's shocking to see them outside the top 5 as it doesn't happen too often. In Saban's 16 seasons, Alabama has only finished outside the top 5 4 times. Like I said, it doesn't happen often, and I don't anticipate them to finish outside of that top 5. But as for the rest of the list, my biggest complaint with the top 5, Ohio State needs to be 1. Georgia and Ohio State both have the talent to be number 1. But my reasoning for Ohio State is they have destroyed teams, while Georgia has looked a little shaky at times, scraping the barrel in some games that they barely got the win in. And they got the top 5 right for now, but the wrong number 1 in my opinion. And we have Around the NFL coming up, so stay with us. We will be right back to break it all down.
Welcome back. It was Zappy Hour at First Energy Stadium as the Cleveland Browns took on the New England Patriots, and away we go. Gorgeous above shot of First Energy Stadium. Let's get this highlight rolling. 3rd and 10 for the Pats. Bailey Zappi zaps this one over to Ramondre Stevenson, and Stevenson is just going to bust through the Cleveland defense and bring that one all the way to the house. Patriots take a 10-3 lead. To the 3rd we go. Patriots in the red zone. It's Zappy Hour somewhere as Bailey Zappi completes a quick pass to Tyquan Thornton in the end zone. Patriots are rolling up 16-6. The Browns are trying to make something happen here. Jacoby's going to drop back, look for an open man, but it's picked. Jalen Mills snatches this one straight out of the air like it was meant for him. He's dodging, he's weaving before finally getting taken down at the 40 by Amari Cooper. That'll set up Zapman Bailey Zappi to connect with a wide open Hunter Henry who practically walks into the end zone. There is not a single Browns defender who had any chance of tackling him. The Pats are up 24-6. 4th and 5 for the Browns. Brissett trying to redeem himself, and he does. He launches a laser to his man Amari Cooper. He gets 2 feet down. The Browns finally get a touchdown on the board. Browns. They are trying to keep themselves in this game. I don't know how to describe this play. Brissett tries to throw the ball. It gets knocked away, and that fumble right there by the big man. Big man running, big man gets taken down. But that play is going to put the Patriots into scoring position. New England, they're going to do just that. Ramondre Stevenson gets the ball and just barrels his way into the end zone, and that'll be it for Cleveland. They'll lose this one 15-38.
And we go around the NFL. Pickett and the Steelers at home against Tom Brady and the Bucs as Najee Harris, he's going to catch this short pass. No contest there as Harris, he just walks in for the touchdown. And the Steelers, they're surprisingly hanging in this one as Kenny Pickett will find Chase Claypool to extend the lead and make it an 8-point game for Pittsburgh. Big game for Claypool. He came through at every big moment, but this is Tom Brady. You can't count him out as he throws this short pass to Leonard Fournette, who does the rest of the work. He will take this in for the score. Bucs, they need to go for 2, but they won't get it. And then Mitch Trubisky, replacing injured Kenny Pickett, he would come in to close the deal, and he would find Chase Claypool once again. Claypool for the Steelers. Great game. Steelers, they ice it and win. They ice this one and win 20-18.
Now we've got the Bengals taking on the Saints. We have Joe Burrow leading Cincinnati. We pick things up in the second, tied at 7. Andy Dalton at QB. He hands it off to Rashid Shaheed, and he's going to dash around the right side over to the sidelines, and he will be off. He'll juke around some defenders, and he just dashes into the end zone. The Saints take a 14-7 lead. Joey Cool is going to drop back. Looks like he's going to be sacked, but he manages to break through the Saints D, and he is off and running. There is no one around him. He is gone to the end zone, and the Bengals still trail 14-17. Joey B will be back on offense. He'll lob this over to Jamar Chase, who breaks a tackle, and then he's gone. He turns on the Jets. He's going to take this one to the house. The Bengals will win this one 30-26 in New Orleans.
And now we have the Ravens and the Giants. Kenyon Drake for the Ravens. He's going to get things going as he breaks off for this touchdown. The Ravens, they take a 7-0 lead over a surprisingly good New York Giants team. Drake with over 100 rushing yards. And the Ravens, they have a 13-10 lead. Lamar would drop back, and he finds his favorite target, Mark Andrews. Andrews' touchdown would make the game a 2-score lead for the Ravens. And the Ravens, like I said, they have the lead late, but a bad snap spells disaster for the Ravens. Action Jackson would pick it up and try and make some end, but it's intercepted the Giants. They would take this one all the way back inside the 15-yard line, and the Giants, they got a chance to steal the win, and they would call on Saquon Barkley. He would take over for the Giants down the stretch, and that's their go-to guy. And the Giants, they come back and they win 24-20 late over the Baltimore Ravens.
We're going to head over to Indianapolis. The Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, he's going to hand it off to JaMychal Hasty, who busts through the Colts, and he leaves them in the dust. He will go 61 yards all the way to the house, and the Jags will take an early 14-3 lead. You know the Colts, though. 3rd and goal for them. Matty Ice, he's going to fake the handoff. He sends it to Paris Campbell, who reaches for the pylon, and that is ruled a TD for the Colts. What an absolute crazy play. 1st and goal for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence scrambles out of the pocket and finds a wide open Christian Kirk in the end zone. The Jags will take a 27-26 lead with 2.5 minutes to go. 23 seconds to go. Ryan winds up and sends a Hail Mary to Alec Pierce, and Pierce hauls this one in for the win. The Colts will win in a thriller at home in Indianapolis, 34-27. What an AFC South matchup.
And we have the Dolphins with Skylar Thompson taking on the Vikings. He's making the start for Miami. We go with the Vikings offense first. Kirk Cousins, he's making plays. He finds a wide open Irv Smith Jr. Let's take a look at that one more time. That's just poor defense by the Miami Dolphins on that one. And the Vikings, once again in the red zone. Vikings O-line giving Kirk Cousins all the time in the world, and he will find wide receiver Adam Thielen for the touchdown. Thielen and Jefferson, they're making things happen for Minnesota. And then we go to the 4th. Teddy Bridgewater, he's replacing the injured Skylar Thompson. He throws a touchdown to Mike Gesicki, who hits the most atrocious gritty I've ever seen by anyone in my entire life. And the Vikings holding on to a slim lead, but Dalvin Cook could cook up the Dolphins defense in crunch time as he breaks loose for the score. Vikings, they would go on to win with a final score of 24-16 over the Miami Dolphins.
Let's finish this up with some Sunday Night Football. The undefeated Eagles against Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. Philly jumps out to an early lead. Jalen Hurst takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff and sends a laser to A.J. Brown. Brown's going to hold on for dear life. Barrel through the Cowboys for the touchdown. Eagles up 14-0. Cowboys are in the red zone. Cooper Rush hands it off to Ezekiel Elliott, who finds a clear route up the middle. He dashes to the outside and runs into the end zone to get the Cowboys their first touchdown. They trail 10-20. But Hurts and the Eagles, they were just too good. He's going to send a dot to Devontae Smith, and the Eagles will remain undefeated with a 26-17 victory.
Yesterday, we saw a football game that analysts and fans alike are certain will be replayed in January during the playoffs. It's Buffalo and it's Kansas City, and let's get to those highlights. We're in Arrowhead, and it's some NFL juggernauts. And I mean, what can you say? It was an unbelievable game last time these teams met, and this is an unbelievable play. Pat Mahomes making magic. Juju Smith-Schuster finds his way into the end zone, and that's the first touchdown in this one. But Josh Allen does what he does best. He throws a rainbow, and Gabe Davis, who had 4 touchdowns last time these teams met, makes it a 10-10 game now. Third quarter, Stephon Diggs. That Allen to Diggs connection is absolutely deadly. If you get a rookie on Diggs one-on-one, just write in a touchdown. And then on 3rd and goal, Mahomes down 7. He stands in the pocket and finds Mecole Hardman. And that ties this game up at 17 apiece. And now, up to under 2 to play, Josh Allen runs right. Oh my goodness, he just clears Justin Reed and hurdles into the red zone. Now, it's a minute to play. Allen drops back, he directs traffic, and there's a dart. It's Dawson Knox, the unlikely hero, gives Buffalo the lead with a minute to go. But did they leave too much time? Can Mahomes win it for the Chiefs? The answer is no. Taron Johnson jumps in front of that pass. It was intended for Sky Moore, and that seals a win for the Buffalo Bills.
Now let's talk some NFL with TV2 NFL analyst Ryan Shanko. Ryan, let's start in the NFC East. In this upstart division, who do you think ends up on top?
I mean, that's a good question, Liv, and honestly, I didn't think anyone would be asking that question this season. We're looking at 3 teams with 5 or more wins already this year, and the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants. To me, Philly is the best team in football right now. If they stay healthy, they will win the East with relative ease. But I think this is the division that will produce 3 playoff teams in Dallas, New York, and Philadelphia.
And Ryan, much has been made about Green Bay's struggles on offense so far this season. Where's the problem on this usual potent unit?
Oh man, I think a better question might be, where's there not an issue in Green Bay right now? Even Aaron Rodgers is feeling the effects of the struggles at wide receiver. A receiver room that was already lacking in talent before the season has just been decimated by injury to a point where the downfield pass game is basically non-existent. The play calling from Matt LaFleur and company has been so bad. The offense just disappears for halves at a time, and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, the star running backs, they don't even get the ball, not even in short yardage situations. Honestly, Green Bay just take a long, hard look in the mirror, because 19 points per game will not cut it in today's NFL. Something needs to change and moves need to be made to turn things around.
Thank you, Ryan. Now let's take a quick score update. Monday Night Football. Chargers-Broncos is still 0-0 in the first quarter. We'll see what happens between these 2 division rivals in this game.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Brady Hamilton, and let's take a look at the upcoming 22 season for the Cavs.
Made for the Cavaliers.
The Cavs did not do much in free agency besides bringing back point guard Ricky Rubio, but the big action really came in a trade late September. The Cavs traded for guard Donovan Mitchell, but had to pay a big price for the star, with trading away Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, along with 3 first-round draft picks and 2 pick swaps.
And Brady, with acquiring Donovan Mitchell from the Jazz, how much of an impact does he bring to the Cavs?
Mitchell will have a major impact on the Cavs from the start. He's a superstar that Cleveland has been looking for ever since LeBron left for a second time. And now you bring him to a team that already has a starting lineup with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. The Cavs now have one of the best backcourt duos in the NBA with Garland and Mitchell.
With that being said, Brady, how do you see the Cavs' outcome this season?
By trading for Mitchell in the offseason, I do not think there's any way how this team is in the play-in for the second year in a row. In the East, I can see them being anywhere from the 2 seed to the 6 seed. But with it being the first year together for this new group, I have the Cavs finishing as the 4 seed and winning at least one playoff series, if not 2. I believe in the next year or two is when this team will be getting closer to getting back to the NBA Finals. And with that, let's get into my NBA predictions for the end of the year. I have the Cavs finishing as the 4 seed. And in the Western Conference Finals, I have the Warriors taking on the Clippers, with the Clippers pulling off the upset to move on to the NBA Finals. And in the East Conference Finals, I have the Bucks getting back there with ease to take on the 76ers. Ultimately, I have the Bucks and the Clippers in the finals, with the Clippers being the champion for 2022.
Thanks, Brady. When we come back, the ALDS was in full swing, and we will break down everything up to this point.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The New York Yankees, the Cleveland Guardians, this ALDS series has been anything but boring, so let's jump to it. And it's baseball in October as the Guards are taking on the Yankees. Obi-Wan Kenobi would get things started for the Guards, using the force to send this one to the stands for a homer. Guards, they take a 1-0 lead in Game 1, and then top of the third. Bases loaded. Great chance for the Guards here, but Garrett Cole would get the strikeout to keep the Yankees alive in this game. That could have been bad for New York, and in the bottom of the third, Harrison Bader, he would crush a homer to tie the game. Yankees, they even this one up 1-1 in this Game 1 matchup. And then Anthony Rizzo for the Yankees, he's going to step up, and he would crush a homer to right field. 2-run homer by Rizzo to give the Yankees a 4-1 lead. Spike Lee, he's there celebrating the Yankees' success. And the Yankees, they would make a statement in Game 1, and Harrison Bader, he's going to end up catching the flyout to seal the deal against the Guardians. 4-1 Yankees in Game 1. Guards, they'll pick up a win in Game 2.
That's right, it's Game 2 in the Bronx. Shane Bieber on the mound, and early into the first, Giancarlo Stanton will rip one deep into right field. This is going to be a really rough start for the Guards as the Yankees go up 2-0. We go to the top of the fourth. Andreas Jimenez gets a bloop hit out to right field, and known speedster Josh Naylor, he's going to rush home for the RBI. The Guardians will get on the board 1-2. Bases loaded are now. Let's take a look at Andres Jimenez hit one more time. Bases loaded. Miles Straw going to hit this one straight to Nestor Cortez, who somehow grabs this one, throws it by the seat of his pants to end the first inning. Top of the fifth, Ahmed Rosario is going to crush this one all the way out to center field to tie this one up at 2. That goes all the way to the bullpen. Harrison Bader, no chance of catching that one, buddy. We head into extras now. Jose Ramirez is up to bat. He is going to hit another bloop, this one way out to left field, and an error. That's going to send Jose all the way to third base in a play that I think only he could make. Look, stops a second, tags it to third. They just can't get him. And who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Oscar Gonzalez does. And bloop, there it is. That'll bring Jose home, and the Guardians will take the lead. Josh Naylor, he's going to keep it going, though. He's going to hit this one clear out to center field. Bader's going to try to get a play going, but he is just not fast enough. The Guardians will tie things up 1-1 in the ALDS with a 4-2 win.
And now we go to Game 3 of the series. Josh Naylor, he's going to get things going as he brings Stephen Kwan home. Guardians, they come out running in Game 3. And then Kwan, he's doing it all for him. He's scoring the runs. He's bringing people home as he's going to bring Arias home. Guardians, they go out to a 2-0 lead. But that would change quickly as the home run machine, Aaron Judge, he would hit a 2-run homer to tie the game. You knew he was due for one in this series. And the momentum, it would go to the Yankees. Judge continues to add on to his phenomenal season. And then Cabrera, he would step up for the Yankees. He's going to hit a 2-run homer of his own to give the Yankees a 4-2 lead. The Guards, they're in trouble, but Will Brennan, he would send this one to the first baseline, scoring another run for the Guardians showing some fight late. They were in trouble and they needed some 9th inning magic. And Oscar Gonzalez is going to be the person they call on. He would sink the Yankees ship, sending them down to the Bikini Bottom, and Cleveland fans and SpongeBob fans celebrate as Gonzalez bats in 2 runs, and the Guards, they guard the land and take a 2-1 series lead.
The Guardians have a chance to clinch it here. Game 4 in Cleveland. Things start out kind of rough for Cal Quantrill on the mound. Anthony Rizzo, he's going to hit a line drive out to center. That drops down, which is going to send Gleyber Torres home. And the Yankees, they're going to take a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. Things only get worse for Quantrill as Harrison Bader sends this one deep into the bleachers for a 2-run home run. Yankees lead 3-0. Bottom of the third, Jose hits what should be a pop out to the left field, but Quan scores. The Guardians now trail 1-2-3. Josh Naylor crushes this ball out to center field, and you heard it here first, folks. Garrett Cole is Naylor's son, which makes Naylor his, well, you can fill in the blanks. That makes the score 2-4. Eli Morgan on the bump. He sends this one right down the middle, and Giancarlo Stanton will send this one deep. Quan manages to grab it, but that's going to send Judge home, and the Yankees will take a 2-5 lead. Will Brennan, he's going to try to call time, doesn't have enough, and he's going to strike out to end the 7th. Guards go 1-2-3 in the 9th. Yankees tie things up at 2 games apiece and force Game 5 tonight.
And then a quick game score update for Game 5. It is expected to still be played tonight, but the game has been delayed to a 9:30 p.m. start time. Hopefully we'll see what happens with the Guards-Yankees game. Hopefully they do play tonight. And Liv, your Guardians in 5 pick, it's still intact, but going back to New York, are you confident they get it done tonight?
My pick is still alive, and say what you will, I'm going to get some hate for this, but I think the Guardians lose tonight. Truly and honestly, I think they lose. I just don't have a good feeling about this game. The Guardians are having such difficulty with getting runners in scoring position home, and when the Yankees just keep mashing home runs off of the Guardians, I don't think we compare. I think last night was the last chance to win, and as a result, the Yankees are going to win. It's going to be a bullpen battle for sure, but the Yankees have all the momentum on their side, as well as the home crowd. If they have any shot of winning this game, the bats need to wake up in a big way. We need Quan to continue getting on base, and Rosario and Ramirez need to step it up. The guys got to settle in, stop chasing. This is a really good team, but they need to be elite tonight to pull off a win.
And Liv, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I'm also picking the Yankees. I'm hoping that the Guardians win, and I'm impressed with the fight they have shown to get to this point. Gonzalez, Quan, Ramirez, and crew will need to perform if they want any chance. Win or lose, though, it's been an amazing run for the Guards, and it's impressive to see that this young Guardians team is where they at today. And this series, it could have been over had the Guardians not pulled out some 9th inning magic in Game 3. That being said, my heart wants the Guards to win, but my mind's telling me it's the Yankees' game to lose. In New York, with Aaron Judge, all the momentum their way, I just don't see it happening for Cleveland, but I am hoping that I am wrong, that the Guards can find a way on the road.
It is the most wonderful time of the year. Not Christmas, but it may as well be for baseball fans. I'm Della Fowler. Let's take it to Seattle for Astros and Mariners. And we will take it there. Seattle, first postseason appearance in 21 years. Rookie George Kirby will have the ball on the mound. Altuve will high fly ball this one to right. Ty France, he will pick it and get Maldonado out at first. That's a double play for the M's. Maldi isn't a fan of it, but the M's fans sure are. What a beautiful play by France. And guess what? It's Altuve versus Kirby again, 2-on-2. And the rookie will beat out the vet, once again striking him out. Jam avoided. Guess what? It's Altuve again, but not doing Altuve things. Matt Brash shuts this team down in the 9th. And to extras we go. But this is a little much. Bottom of the 16th. Yuli Gurriel, he'll bat this one, and oh my gosh, that would have been a beautiful play if J-Rod wasn't so good. What a catch for the rookie, keeping Seattle alive. To the 18th in Seattle, and we love rookies in this series. JP3 sends it over J-Rod's head into center field. Mr. Hart has stolen our hearts with this one, way out of the park. Now, Luis Garcia, talk about clutch. Long relief appearance here for the Astros. Who else at bat besides J-Rod? This season is all about rookies. But it goes straight to Mauricio Dubon, guaranteeing a Crush City sweep. Houston on top, 1-0.
Then we got the Padres and Dodgers in San Diego, and Freddie Freeman, he's going to hit this towards first to score Mookie Betts and Trey Turner to put the Dodgers on the board. Dodgers with a 2-0 lead in the top of the third inning. And then we will go to the bottom of the seventh. Still in the runs for the Padres, but that changes as Austin Nola brings home Profar for the score, and the Padres, they draw a little closer, 3-1, and they weren't done in the bottom of the seventh. Ha-Seong Kim would hit one down the third baseline as he brings home Trent Grisham, and he gets to the second. Padres showing some life here, and the avalanche would continue in the bottom of the seventh. Soto is going to step up to hit, and he hits a single and will score Nola and bring Kim to third base on this beautiful shot to tie the game. And just like that, the Padres even things at 3 apiece. No outs, and it was always the Padres. Jay Cronenworth would hit to center field to score Kim and Soto. Padres 7th inning avalanche, and in this stadium, it had to be rocking. And the Padres, they would strike out Freeman to seal the deal. Padres, they go on to win, and they take a 2-1 lead over the Dodgers in the series.
Game 4 for the Phillies and the Braves. Brandon Marsh takes this one a yard. He's got a 3-run home run, and the Phillies are rolling. Atlanta, they're going to respond here. Orlando Arcia sends this one deep out to left field, and that's good by about 3 to 4 seats. Braves get on the board. Bottom of the third, Real Muto is up to bat. That's a deep fly ball, and Michael Harris the second. He can't quite track that ball down. He's messing around out there in the outfield. Real Muto is off and running. He's headed around third, but the pitch does not come in time, and he's got an inside the park home run to put the Braves up 4-1. Hoskins up to bat. He'll send this one to right field, and that'll be an RBI single, and the Phillies just keep building the lead. Real Muto again. He's gotten hit an infield single. He's going to beat out the tag, and he's going to bring another runner home. The Phillies will lead 6-2. Just a total collapse of the Braves. Bryce Harper trying to put this one away. Shoots the ball through the hole, and another runner will score. 7-2 Phillies. But it's going to be d'Arnaud, the pitcher. He's going to close this one out, and the former World Series champs are bounced out of the playoffs.
Then taking a quick look at the NLC's matchup, the Phillies, they were 87-75, and the Padres, they were 89-73. Game 1 is taking place on October 18th at 8:03 p.m. And now I'm sure you've been watching the playoffs just as much as we have been. Who do you think is the most fun team to watch so far, Della?
If I'm being honest, I have to give credit where credit is due, and that's to Philadelphia. Their Red October motto is working. The fans have showed up and showed out in ways that I don't think anyone expected, along with the bats. They've put up 8+ runs in back-to-back games against last year's World Series champs. Despite having big names like Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, they have been counted out almost all season. They came into the NL playoffs as a team with the least amount of wins and are now in the NLCs. October looks beautiful in red for the Phillies.
Della, I know you're from Houston, so you probably know Astros baseball like the back of your hand. Here's my question. Are the Astros really as good as they look coming off of a sweep of a very good Seattle team with 2 Cy Young contending pitchers?
You know, I don't want to jinx my Astros, but I will say this. Seattle was a very good team. But I'd say that a few times in this series, Houston got lucky. Don't get me wrong. Jose has been flexing that gold glove, making gorgeous plays thus far. But at the plate, statistically, he is having a terrible postseason. He is 0 for 16, charting 1 walk in the 3 ALDS games that he started. Along with this, Justin Verlander did not have his best game in Game 1. If Houston wants to get on the right foot for the ALCs, JV can't give up 6 earned runs. If Houston wants to level up, their stars have to start shining.
And for the Clevelanders, we want to know, can they do it? Can the Guards take the win over the Yankees in Game 5?
Absolutely they can. It is playoff baseball and anything can happen. Cleveland is one of those teams that play best when they're underdogs. They're the youngest team in the league, and if you would have asked me a few months ago, I'd be shocked that they'd even made the postseason, much less to hang with the Yankees and likely hang with the best hitter in the league right now. However, Cleveland can hang, and I think that this game tonight will be exactly what postseason baseball is about.
Well, thank you, Della, and good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Kiraly. We've got a ton on the countdown tonight. It was a busy weekend. Major League Baseball's postseason is in full swing. But who will take the top spot on the countdown? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get right to it. Started things off at number 10. How about the Ole Miss Rebels? They welcomed in Auburn, and the Tigers ended up giving them fits, but they by putting up 17 and 14 points in the second and third quarters respectively. But Ole Miss calmed down and proved why they were the number 9 team in America as they won by the final score of 48-34. And with this win on this Saturday, Ole Miss just showed why they belong in the conversation of one of college football's best. Hotty toddy, Ole Miss with the win. At number 9, how about the Philadelphia Eagles? A big-time matchup on Sunday night hosting the 4-1 Cowboys. They won 26-17. The defense proved they were legit. They picked off quarterback Cooper Rush 3 times. Philly's the only unbeaten team in the league, and the birds are flying. Don't look now, but the birds are flying. Let's go back to the college ranks at number 8, Michigan. Talk about another instance of taking care of business in a big-time game. They took down number 10, Penn State, in the Big House, 41-17. The offense was firing on all cylinders. The defense played dominant, and Michigan, they're knocking on the door on the steps of the college football playoff. At number 7, let's give some love to the Oklahoma Sooners. They had their back against the wall coming into this game, hosting number 19, Kansas, and they ended up winning in a showdown by the final score of 52-42. Eric Gray, 176 yards on the ground. Dylan Gabriel, over 400 yards through the air. At number 6, the New York Football Giants hosted the Baltimore Ravens, and they ended up winning 24-20. The defense did the job. Daniel Jones throws for 173 yards and 2 scores. The Giants just keep proving that they're legit week in and week out. At number 5, how about the Fightins? The Philadelphia Phillies squared off with their division rival, the defending champs, the Atlanta Braves. 100-plus win team they're facing off against. Doesn't matter. Against all odds, the Phillies are now fighting to the NLCS. At number 4, this is the team that they're playing, the San Diego Padres, another team that shocked the world. 111 wins against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Does not matter. San Diego slams their way to a date with the Phillies for the chance to go to the World Series. At number 3, the New York Jets. Both New York teams are in the countdown as New York took flight and grounded the Packers at Lambeau Field by the final score of 27-10. And I'll tell you what, folks, I can't even remember the last time that I've said this, but New York football, Jets, Giants combined, starting to look legit. An Empire State of Mind, definitely, in the NFL out in NYC. Let's take things, or keep things, I should say, in the NFL. And at number 2, the Buffalo Bills. They really proved their stance of where they are in the National Football League. A 24-20 win against Kansas City in Arrowhead. Josh Allen, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen and the Bills have never beaten the Chiefs in this era of Buffalo football until Sunday. Buffalo with a big-time win at numero uno, Rocky Top. Home sweet home to me. Woo! 52-49 over Alabama. Who would have thought coming into the season that Tennessee would knock off Nick Saban and the Tide? Neyland Stadium pretty much disintegrated on Saturday night along with the rest of the state. But with the Vols, they're for real, y'all. They are for real. In Tennessee, you are number 1 on the Kiraly Countdown.
And coming up, we have got our award-winning segments, and I've got the sharpest take. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple, just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Welcome back. It is time for my sharpest take, and this is probably my sharpest take of all time. Let's get into it. The Green Bay Packers are going to miss the playoffs. Yes, I said it. I think they're going to finish third, maybe second in the NFC North, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs. They're having a really rough season so far, and it's not going to get easier going forward. Sure, they beat the Bears and a rough Tampa Bay team, but they barely beat the Patriots, who were led by a rookie taking his first NFL snaps. Rodgers has no chemistry with his new receiving core, and it really shows. Rodgers is struggling big time when he's not getting repeatedly sacked. Now, the Packers defense isn't particularly bad. They entered yesterday ranked 11th in the NFL, but they aren't making any big plays. They haven't even had a turnover in 2 weeks. A lot of people will be ready to say the Packers are back when they beat the Commanders next week, but it's not true, as I see them falling to Buffalo and Detroit in the coming weeks. There are simply better teams in the NFC and better teams specifically in the NFC North.
And for my Mergen Minute this week, I wanted to give another Monday Night Football prediction. We got a divisional matchup between the Broncos and the Chargers, and I think Justin Herbert and crew get it done. It'll be a tough game. This Chargers defense is banged up, but I think that offense is just more efficient than Denver's. Wilson has struggled since arriving in Denver, and outside of Cortland Sutton, there have been little to no bright spots for this team. Javonte Williams' injury did not help their case either, and they have a serious issue at running back as a whole. Expect the Chargers to pick up a win with a final score of 21-17 over their division rival. And for my men on the Silver Mountain pick this week, I went with the Buffalo defense. Buffalo had a crushing loss to the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, and many fans were anticipating a shootout with little to no turnovers in the game. The Bills had a fumble early, setting them back, but ultimately the defense was able to do enough against Patrick Mahomes. The pass rush was effective, and the Bills' defense was able to get a game-sealing pick on the Hall of Fame talent quarterback. The Bills finally were able to get over the hump against a tough Chiefs team, and the defense deserves a lot of the credit, and that is why they are my men on the Silver Mountain this week.
My man on the Silver Mountain is Brian Daboll. Yes, the coach of the New York Football Giants, Brian Daboll. Why, you ask? Well, the New York Giants are 5-1. Yes, you heard that right. And I would give most, if not all, of the credit to their new coach, Brian Daboll. He's one of two coaches for the New York Giants to go 5 out of 6, the other being Dan Reeves in '93. Daboll has led his team to victories over some of the toughest teams like the Ravens and the Packers. The change on the field, however, is nothing compared to the change in the locker room. Players consistently sing his praises about how the atmosphere has changed and that the morale on the team has never been better. The Giants are a legitimate threat, and I cannot wait to see what Daboll does the rest of the season.
And then just another Game 5 update. The game is approximated to start at 9:30. Guards, Yankees, Game 5. The winner will go to the ALCS. Let's hope that the Guards can get that Game 5 win. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Sports Corner.
Be sure to follow us on social media at TV2KSU Sports for more updates around the Portage County. I'm Olivia Sharp.
And I'm Matt Mergen. I hope you all have a great rest of your night.